You know what? I don't like mentioning names in my videos. I actually haven't done it. Okay, and this is going to be the first time in this video that I've mentioned another. If I'm critiquing something or if I'm criticizing something, I keep people's names and channels out of it. But seeing how people are starting to target me by name in their channels, I'm going to critique this particular video from this particular clown show because it's absolutely hilarious when you tear it down bit by bit. It couldn't be funnier. Like, he doesn't realize how absolutely stupid he's made himself sound. Okay? I haven't even seen a nice fish tank on this channel to begin with. So, you know, all he's doing is running around pandering to whichever little group he thinks he can get some subs off of and saying what he thinks people want to say. Well, I don't do that. Okay? I sit here and I give you the cold, hard truth, even if it's, you know, someone might think it's negative or, oh, he's being so negative. Like, give me a break. I'm so sick and tired of all these oversensitive, you know, Generation Y, Z folks, you know, that don't spank your kids' generation. You fools have grown up to be an absolute embarrassment to this world. And we're gonna show you one of those people right now. Absolutely ridiculous. Listen to this fool. Okay, so we're talking about a channel, relatively recent channel called Uncommon Aquatics. Seems to be doing a little bit okay for himself on the sub side of things, but he's basically, you know, just pandering to swamp tankers, and that's an easy thing to do out there. So yeah, this is the channel right here, Uncommon Aquatics. This is the video he made, and he's talking. I guess he's trying to bait me. I really don't care if he likes killing his fish. It doesn't bother me. Okay, he's doing a little experiment, and now let's just break this down bit by bit, shall we? Let's listen to this. Let's listen to this this guy gripe on me. It's hilarious. It's almost like he's crying. And in this first part, he had to edit it like 40 million times because he couldn't get it right. So it's like cut. Like, he spent a lot of time trying to tear me down. Like, watch this garbage. Watch this. It's hilarious.
If you found something that works and you like it, then do that. Absolutely.
Cut.
If you're going to go low maintenance, you can't just say, oh, well, I'll just let my fish live in dirty water.
Cut.
I've seen firsthand evidence that this works.
He cut like 3 times, 4 times there.
I'm 3 months into a trial. Now, mine might fail. This could crash and burn. And I'll be back in front of this camera saying, guess what, guys? I failed.
Okay. He failed before he even started. Look at the water. He's about to drop new discus in cloudy-ass white water. He'll be saying he's failed. The fish that he just showed us he's working on are already stunted. They're horrible looking.
We have hard rural water, and he does not really do water changes. And he has a large tank with a lot of discus, and those discus from...
There, now he's showing us his friend's discus, okay? These discus in his unkept, dirty-ass tank, these discus are horribly stunted. They're showing bad color. They're showing the darkest stripes possible because they're not happy and they're sick. And it's like their gills are being burned. There's nothing about the fish he's showing that are good.
All different sources have thrived in that low-tech natural...
He calls it thriving. Okay, look at the skinny forehead on this fish here. This fish here ain't looking so bad. Okay? It's not looking 100% bad, but I'm guessing they haven't had it that long. Those eyeballs are still huge, though. If you look how many eyeballs you could fit on top, it's basically, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4 eyeball fish already, and it hasn't even started growing. Like, no. A good discus, you'll fit 8, 9 eyeballs vertically up and down. So, Jesus, screensaver is a little too quick on that. Well, let's continue.
Aquarium. I think the conversation around discus keeping
All
scares a lot
stunted.
of people off from keeping one of the coolest fish in the hobby. Hey, it's Brock here with Uncommon Aquatics.
Now, it is one of the coolest fish in the hobby, right? But do your research.
And today we are going to be stocking discus in my 110-gallon acrylic aquarium that I've been showcasing in my recent videos. I'm going to be taking...
I don't even know who this fool is. Couldn't care less.
All showcasing in my recent videos. I'm going to be taking some discus out of one of my other tanks, the 125 behind me, and then I've got a new discus right here floating in the bag.
So he's got a 125-gallon tank with discus in it, but for some reason that tank ain't working out, and he's got to move them all into this tank. And he's adding a new discus to this one. Okay.
Now, before we add the fish, I want to touch on what this video is going to talk about. I'm considering a title for this video that is along the lines of, you don't need to do all those excessive water changes to keep discus.
Now, they keep trying to reframe my argument into something about water changes. I've never discussed doing excessive water changes to keep discus. In fact, my tank, I do very little water changes. Most discus keepers would probably hate how little I do water changes and how successful I am regardless of it. Okay? This guy has no clue about my channel. And he's just trying to ride my coattails because I've been getting a lot of attention lately. That's what's going on here. That is what's going on here.
Yes. And that's going to be the kind of statement that will get some people riled up. In particular, there's a...
Now, that statement doesn't get me riled up. It doesn't get me riled up at all. I simply have been speaking out against people putting discus in a tank like a Wallstead tank, for example. Now look at his tank. He's not really Wallsteaded at all. He's got a very thin substrate. He's got filtration. He might have one or two plants in his soil, but he's got almost nothing. So like he's not doing anything substantially different. He doesn't have enough filtration, and his water's white and cloudy, and he needs to address that, or his fish are going to die pretty quick. But really, there's nothing different about his tank than mine. But he's trying to create some kind of false equivalency or false inequivalency. I'm not sure what he's up to here. He seems very confused to me. He seems like someone told him a bunch of stuff and he just hasn't watched a video on my channel, not a single one.
In particular, there's a channel that I had been watching called Discus North, who has beautiful discus, and he only talks about discus. But
You see, I don't only talk about discus. I quite often talk about my Oscars. Some weeks I talk more about my Oscars than my discus. This guy has no clue about my channel.
He's been on kind of a toxic rampage lately. Just every video is just angry and complaining and like arguing with a wall about how his way of keeping discus is the only way. Well, I know...
No. I've done none of that either. I've absolutely done none of that. See, they keep trying to reframe me into something I'm not because they're clowns.
Someone locally who lives 30 miles from me.
But he's going to use that as his example and his motivation to kill fish in front of your face.
A 210-gallon discus tank and never does water changes. He's had the tank set.
It's absolutely hilarious that he thinks that this is the example to follow, and then he's going to show it to you. I mean, it's not hilarious. It's sad, but it's hilarious because he thinks he's making a point here, and it's just he doesn't know what he's looking at. And after if he sticks with discus and he starts learning about discus, okay, and he's going to look back at this video in a year and he's going to go, wow, I was such an idiot.
10-gallon discus tank and never does water changes. He's had the tank set up for a year. He got his discus when they were small, and they've gotten 3 times.
They're not 3 times bigger. They're not 3 times bigger. They're about as small as that first size he showed you. They're not 3 times bigger.
It's larger. So I want to have the conversation discus, and even if you don't have to, maybe should you? Talking while this guy's...
Okay, we're going to have to start zooming through because I'm not going to put you through this whole nonsense video. Okay, so he's just released a new discus. It looks nice. It won't for long.
I just want to tie a bow on the conversation I was having earlier.
This is
Discus
Bo.
North is probably a phenomenal guy and an expert fish keeper and awesome with discus. But I brought his name into this video because I think it's important the way we talk to each other and about each other when we disagree about a hobby that we all care about. It's okay for you and I, or me and him, to disagree on something without being hateful or having so much negativity.
Okay, these guys have given me nothing but negativity and hate for like over a year. I've been responding to it lately in my videos because they're a bunch of clowns and I'm tired of them, just like a lot of other people are tired of them. And this is the bullshit. You know, they're trying to act like they've got some kind of moral high ground, and they're just stupid. It's absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, no, we'll continue on with whatever the hell this guy thinks he is. I mean, I'm not hateful, okay? I'm not hateful. I'm simply speaking out. And when you speak out against your little narratives, he's just hateful. Just give me a break. Give me a break.
Having so much negativity, I think it can be a little bit toxic when you're just negative.
There's nothing more toxic than this fish tube community, okay? And there's nothing more negative than these clowns and their lies and their bullshit. Just go around in the background, start joining their discords and everything else. Toxic, they define toxic. And when they get some back, they cry like little babies, like this guy.
All the time. Okay, so right here at the front is the one I've had the longest. I've had that guy about 3 months. He has gotten bigger, although I wouldn't call it rapid growth.
3 months, okay? Now, discus grow an inch a month, okay? Okay? That fish, when he bought it, was 3 months old. It's probably 6 months old right now. That fish should be bigger than this one. Where is he? I'm looking for something that's, see that guy right there? Should be that big. That's a 7 month old fish. He's already starting off. It's gonna grow, you know. Oh, I could take 3-4 years to grow my fish. Doesn't matter. No, you only got 15 months, buddy, and you're already screwing it up.
Let's see if I can catch him before he realizes what's happening.
See how big his angelfish is? Because he probably bought the angelfish at the same time. And the discus and the angelfish, like, angelfish can grow faster, but not that much faster.
Okay, this is the newer discus. He's a little bit bigger. He's got some different coloration to him.
He's got a pretty skinny head. Yeah, that's not good shape, and it's far back and blurry, and I can already see it's not good shape and not good color. But he still
has kind of a blue tone, but he's got more striping on him and more of a mix of colors.
Okay, those stripes are stress stripes. They mean you're failing.
All right, here goes discus number 3. This one I think might be a wild caught, but I'm not sure. He's closer in color to the second discus that we put in, but he's got more brown on him than either of the other two.
He's certainly not wild caught. They're just brown when they're young and when they haven't been grown out properly.
is the largest of the 3 discus, feeding on some blackworms off the bottom. Those are
blackworms. Awesome. You're already off to a great start. Everybody who feeds blackworms. So I'm not even going to tell you about blackworms. I'm just going to let you find out. Keep it up.
My pet blackworms he's eating, by the way. Is a very skinny fish.
Yeah, he's a very skinny fish. I wonder why. What else do you feed him? Oh my God. Look at that poor thing. Look at how big the eye is. He's owl-eyeing out. This one's already doomed.
That's what I noticed when I brought him home. I haven't had him very long. Hoping that
doesn't take long to screw him up either. Good job.
Food in this aquarium will help him thrive a little better.
Less competition for food. You think that's what your problem is?
And here we have the other 2 that are smaller. The solid blue is the one I got today. And this is the guy I've had for months. So, there you can see all 3 of them.
Anyhow, let's move.
Not do water changes. I said, okay, just because he's doing it doesn't mean it's a good idea. Let's water changes for discus. I think the conversation around discus keeping scares a lot of people off from keeping one of the coolest fish in the hobby.
Everybody watching the drastic failure this guy's going to be is what's going to scare people off keeping discus.
If you talk to the average hobbyist who's really into it, not just one aquarium, but who really is into fish keeping, they will tell you they'd like to keep discus, but they're kind of scared off that it's too difficult or they couldn't do it.
I just got to skip through this shit.
A lot of us to miss out. Saying I do a once a week 25% water change on every aquarium in my fish room, that's just normal. And when I say no water changes, I mean excessive water changes.
Okay, so he's reframing himself, he's backpedaling, and he thinks he can handle his discus like he can every other fish in his fish room. I've heard people walk down this road before. I've heard better fish keepers than this guy think the same thing, and then they watched all their fish die. So it's just more of the same, really. And he just wants to ride my coattails. That's all he wants to do.
Bought him small, and he didn't buy them from some premium, far-off supplier that shipped them all in together. He picked them up one at a time as he found them in stores. And those discus, from all different sources, have thrived in that low-tech natural aquarium.
Okay, show it to us.
Now mine might fail. This could crash and burn. And I'll be back in front of this camera saying, guess what, guys? I failed. I'll come right here and I'll tell you that what I'm saying today is wrong, if that's what happens.
Dude, it's already happened.
And I'll put a link at the end of this video to a future follow-up video whenever oil or your dirt. And then twice as thick as that, you should have a sand cap. And then you should put a lot of plants in. There are 30 or 40 plants in this aquarium. Now, my aquarium does not look like a jungle because my plants are small. But all of these plants right here along the front of the glass, those are out of my other aquariums, and those are going to spread like crazy. They carpet across. And I showed it in yesterday's video about...
Okay, so he's going to carpet, which means he's not planning on vacuuming his substrate. That's going to kill his fish.
My father fish tank, how those plants, that exact same plant that I took that off of, is just exploding.
Anyway, this is what happens when a groupie tries to sound like he knows what he's doing and makes a complete asshat of himself. This whole video is like a 2-digit IQ trying to sound smart about something he absolutely knows nothing about while knocking a guy who has spent years learning about a particular fish. And he's talking about my delivery. Like, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. It's literally, keep it up, buddy. I'd like to see your next video. And you know what? I'll talk to people how I want to talk to people, okay? I don't have to blow smoke up your ass or anyone else's. or anyone else. If you think I'm negative, I think you're a clown. There you go. Have a nice day.